especially the avatara means the different forms of how the Lord is born and the roles that the Lord has. First is to ask ourselves, do we have clarity on this? Do we have proper understanding on what is an incarnation, avatara we say. So this is a concept. Sometimes we don't properly get it. So it is good to have clarity on that. And can the understanding of reincarnation and the law of karma be useful in directing my actions in this life? So this is what we will also discuss today. The concept of the Lord's birth, why the Lord takes birth, whether he is bound by karma or whether we are bound by karma, and how in overcoming our karma, in dealing with our karma, the understanding of the Lord is important. See, it will come later of the forms of devotees, the Lord will say. It is not just a devotee who wants something from the Lord, something I want to get, some problem I want to be solved. A higher kind of devotee is one who is a jignasu and ultimately a jnani. So in the form of devotion, the highest devotion is actually knowledge of the Lord. Can this concept help me to see an underlying balance and justice in society? So it will help answer a lot of questions for us. Meaning we many times don't have proper understanding on what is the why things are happening. Why do good people prosper and flourish? Why do bad people prosper and flourish, and why do good people suffer? This seems like there's a constant imbalance in the society. So in one way, this is where the knowledge of the law of karma, the understanding of how karma works. So from that point of karma, the grand scale of time, which is not seen by us, but only the Lord has the whole vision, the full vision, and everything in that sense is justified. Okay, so this is a contemplation. So let us now come to our regular class. So we are looking at the fourth chapter. So this chapter is predominantly going to talk about the jnana. So here, actually, jnana, when we say, the knowledge, there is, I might have mentioned this, but generally the Bhagavad Gita, some people categorize in three ways. The first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is called as Twampada Pradhana, meaning it is going to focus a lot on who we are, what is our nature. And in order to understand that, the whole divine perspective of this world is also given sometimes. What is the nature of this world? Then the other part of the equation is Tatpada. We have this word Tattvamasi. The following 6 chapters from 7 to 12, it focuses a lot on the nature of the Lord, the Supreme Being, the Saguna Brahma, the creator, or the one who is the whole reason for the whole of this creation. So it will focus more on that, the 7 to 12. And the following 6 chapters will actually focus on the equating these two, meaning getting us that knowledge and how to practice that knowledge. But here in this chapter, fourth chapter, the Lord brings in this part about the Saguna Brahma. Even though it is mostly focused on self, who are we? Why are we going in this world? What is the nature of this world? In order to explain that, the Lord has to first explain about himself, or about that supreme reality, whether we call it him or it doesn't matter. So this supreme reality, this one supreme reality, which is the cause or which is the sustenance, the whole sustenance of this world. So that explanation, the Lord feels it is important to give. And especially not just that, here he explains something which is more predominant in our Puranas, mythologies. The stories of the Lord, the basis of those stories is given. So why does the Lord take birth again and again, which we call as avatara? Avatara means that the divine manifestation, the divine birth of the Lord. So some places, like one of the discussion we were having on our group, right? Some places the Lord's birth and death is evident, but some places it is not that evident. Like, it is said that in the initial births, he took the form of Matsya Kurma Varaha. So the like animal forms. The fish, the first manifestation of the Lord was this fish, gigantic fish, and that saved the humanity, the Vedas, and all that from a demon. And similarly, the kurma, a turtle or the tortoise, whichever way, and that supported the mountain during there is this great battle between the devatas and the rakshasas, the gods and the demons. So the Lord manifested as Kurma, the turtle, a giant turtle which was under the mountain. And then he took form as Varaha, the one who rescued the earth from a specific demon called Hiranyaksha. And then there are middle manifestations. One is called as the Narasimha, where he was a half man and a half lion. So many of you are familiar, might have seen this, things. So it is also worshipped as a manifestation of the Lord. Narasimha Avatara. It's a very unique kind of manifestation. All others are very straightforward, but this is a kind of combination thing. And then there was a Vamana, a dwarf, who was born in a form of a dog to humble a king, a righteous king. But, he was part of the demons, so he was humbled. Then there was Parashurama. He was born as a one as a that time where the Brahmin thing was going down. So with that, the knowledge system and all that. So he came to rescue that that in a more violent way. See, the manifestations of Lord is not always peaceful. But we will understand today why it is not always peaceful. Then he came as Rama. Rama is the embodiment of Dharma, we say. So in Rama Avatara, we don't see a lot of miracles. He was born as a human and he died as a human. We see very clearly. In other avatars, we don't see that clearly. Rama and Krishna also, we see that. So here in that he was a perfect embodiment of how we should all follow the dharmic path, how we should live a life of righteousness. And then comes the avatar of Krishna. So here he was not so much focused on the details of righteousness, day-to-day righteousness. He was focused on the higher purpose, which is the establishing that moksha shastra through Bhagavad Gita especially, and through many ways, through his acts and all that, he showed that one has to be clever also. One has to find a way to work in the world. So that is why the teachings of karma yoga and all are predominant. Everybody, many people, who are not able to completely leave that kind of a higher dharmic path. So it's not that we shouldn't strive, we should all strive to leave that dharmic path, but yet from a lot of worldly life perspective, a common man finds it hard to completely follow that. So the goal is not just the seeking of dharma alone, but that higher path of moksha. So this is where many other paths. I was talking to somebody today, like this paths where like especially in our things this as Mimamsaka Shastra, they were focusing on all the karma kanda. And another way of manifestation is in the Nastikas, we see in Jainism and all, where there is a complete means to follow ahimsa, satya, saying the truth, non-violence, not harming anybody and not even animals and insects. So that is all good. But however, our goal is not just to be that dharma alone. Dharma is essential, and we will discuss this today. Dharma is essential for the purification. Yet the goal is not just having the perfect dharma nishta from a sadhaka, for a seeker, I realize the goal is moksha. So sometimes, we may do some small harm to some creatures unknowingly, especially, and there is a papa for that. We will also have karmic consequences of that. But the Vedanta especially doesn't ask us to focus so much on all that. We do try our best, but the focus is not that we shouldn't accumulate those small karmas, for which we may suffer. We may have some health problems in some life. We may have some difficulties because we have unknowingly, unconsciously hurt beings. But the goal is moksha, the goal is realization. Why? Because when you realize your true nature, when you realize the self, the Paramatma, then all this karma is gone. So this is the goal. We want to be freed forever from the karma, not just accumulate a whole lot of good karma and keep having good positive experience in life is not the highest goal. It is an intermediary goal. So from that perspective, the moksha is what is the Lord in Krishna Avatara has come to establish. Of course, in the Dashavatara, they also talk that how the next incarnation of the Lord was Buddha. So the Lord wanted to also, in a way, without the use of Vedas, people, especially through this thing, what we call the Tvampada Vichara, that is also a path. Tvampada means that inquiry into self, just knowing oneself and practice of this knowing the self through the Buddhist practices. There also is a possible means realization to establish that the Buddha avatar is there. Then there is a Kalki avatara, which they say is yet to come, or it will come towards the end of Kali Yuga. So these are the avatars. However, the goal of Gita is not so much to focus on that part of the teaching, but some basic understanding is helpful. So here the Lord is saying, now today we will discuss these shlokas, very famous, well-known shlokas, and interpreted a lot from this context of upholding the Dharma. One of the purpose of the manifestation of the Lord is the upholding of this balance of Dharma. Dharma is a very it's interpreted in many ways. The word dharma is here used mostly in the context of righteousness, a righteous living, good deeds. There is dharma based on the shastras. What is dharma is one thing. There is common dharma people know about. Common dharma meaning like we should not harm others. Why? Because if somebody harms me, I know I will not like it. I will have pain. So I should not harm others also. So there is common dharma, samanya dharma we say. Then there is a vishesha dharma of particular individual in a particular varna or particular ashrama. Like if you are a married person, if you are a sannyasi, if you are a brahmachari. So there are different dharmas for each one. So the ashramas, I hope everybody knows. What are the 4 ashramas? People know? Ashramas. When I say ashramas, what are the 4 ashramas?
Brahmacharya,
Ah,
Grihastha, Vanaprastha,
Vanaprastha.
Vanaprastha.
Sannyasa.
Sannyasa. Very good. Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. The initial stage of Brahmacharya, the person has to live either in Gurukul or wherever he's staying, he has to abide by certain vows of following certain dharmas. And, for a Brahmin person especially, and for some other classes also, they have to do certain japas, certain mantras, all the things are there, niyamas are there. So they should follow that while they study and other things. They do all the regular things, but they should follow that. Then comes the grihastha. There is also rules. There is also what is right and what is wrong for a grihastha is there. The grihastha in a typical Vedic system has to help in upholding the other ashramas. huh. They are the support means. And the pancha yajna, mahayajna, we talk about, like they have to give offerings to other like animals, their ancestors, and gurus, and all that. So all this dharmas are there. Then there is a vanaprastha also. Meaning a person, in our olden times, the kings, many kings and many people at the age of thing, they didn't continue staying there. Nowadays, part of the problem we have is that the old elders expect, right, the people to look after them. Of course there is a need for that, but in the earlier age they try to retire, they withdraw from the society. Why? Because the goal of life was never to just have a good life all through. The goal of life was to walk the path of dharma and attain this moksha. So at the end of your life, you try to kind of, withdraw yourself. You spend more and more time to study of the shastras, do whatever sadhana physically you're able to do. This is kind of the last opportunity in that life. And then there are those who come to the path of sannyasa. In the Shastras, it says sannyasa can be taken from any ashrama, uh, right from the brahmacharya ashrama, grahastha ashrama, or vanaprastha. Everyone, any stage you can take. Especially, sometimes when I here in South India, many people debate that, but it is very clearly there in Jabala Upanishad and all that. And I have also co-authored a book on sannyasa, so we have covered all this. So the sannyasa ashrama, which is re-established by Shankaracharya, has very specific the things that a person can and cannot do. Especially he is the one who has to show the world the aspect of karma sannyasa, which is why I've discussed all this. The karma sannyasa, which is the name of this chapter. This is the embodiment that the sannyasi shows, that he outwardly renounces all occupations as such, doing this like the means where you get rewards, only rewards, especially like work, job, where you're getting a sustained income and all that. That is the embodiment. But inwardly, what is it symbolic of? Inwardly, it is symbolic of this rejecting or giving up this bhoktrutva, this sense of reward, and the sense of doership. So that is where it stands for. Okay, so now dharma, coming back to dharma. So dharma is actually mentioned in a individual way as Vishesha dharma. Then there is Samanya dharma. Now, there is one more aspect of dharma, and this is more prevalent, especially in certain darshanas, especially in Astika darshanas and all that. They use the dharma in a much more larger scale because they don't believe in God as a person. Like they don't believe in an individual manifestation of God. huh. So they say there is no specific God, but then what is upholding the world is dharma. Hmm. So this is also an interpretation of dharma, and loosely we can also use this, but in some ways we can use this, where the dharma is that force, where as long as there is a balance of dharma, there is a certain, what we can call as a certain force behind that nature, then the whole world will sustain, that is say. So in this shloka, somehow the Lord also uh, uh, kind of endorses part of that. Yet, however, from the Bhagavad Gita teachings, it is the Lord Himself who sustains that. It is not like there is a nature or something by itself; it is manifesting and holding the dharma. So Sankhya Darshana also to some extent says that Prakriti itself will hold the dharma. But here the Lord says, I am the one who ensures this balance. this balance of dharma, which is essential for life to continue. This balance I will ensure, I ensure. So that is the shlokas we will look at. We have briefly, we might have chanted that, but we will chant again and let us look at that. So, shloka number 8, we will, no, sorry, 7, starting from shloka 7. Can repeat after me. Okay, so please repeat after me. Yada yada hi dharmasya
Yada yada hi dharmasya
ज्ञानिर्भवति भारत
glanirvati bharata
अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य
abhyuttanamadharmasya
तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्
tadatmanam sujamyaham
परित्राणाय साधूनां
pavitranaya sadhunam
विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम्
vinashaya च dushkritam
धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय
dharma samsthapanarthaya
संभवामि युगे युगे
sambhavami yuge yuge
जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम्
janma karma cha me divyam
एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः
evayyo vetti tattvatah
त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म
tyaktva
देहं
deham
पुनर्जन्म
नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन
naiti mameti
मामेति
sorjuna
सोऽर्जुन
Just look at this one also. Vitaragabhaya krodha
vitaragavaya
वीतरागभयक्रोधा
manmaya mamupashritaha
manmaya
मामुपाश्रिताः
bahavo jnana tapasa
bahavo jnana tapasa
ज्ञानतपसा
Uta madbhavamagataha
bhutamabhavamagataha.
So, see here, this sloka is repeated especially from the dharmic thing for a lot of people. Yada yada hi dharmasya jnanir bharata. Whenever there is a decline in dharma, virtue, meaning the good forces, the righteousness, people following a certain law, law of code, a code of living, where they are following a certain path of upward progress, spiritually, society, even in terms of society, as long as the society has a certain virtue, it will stay. If tomorrow the society goes back to the law of jungle, if everybody is allowed to kill, then what happens? The law, if there is no law, then very few mighty people alone will survive, physically mighty people. So similarly, in that spiritual context, in that higher context also, there is a divine law of justice. Just as we have the legal law, there is a divine law of how things are upheld. And this is the motivation for people to work towards uh, a law of right living. So we can also see this, a person who is evil, even in his thoughts, in his conduct, in his behavior with others. One is internally that person is never happy. Internally, that person is ever kind of in a state of agitation. But also, sooner or later, things don't work his way because people don't trust him. Even in the world, this common sense, if you are harming everybody, they will not trust you. But then there is, of course, many who know cleverly to work with life. These are the people who are the most harmful to society's dharma. The like nowadays in Indian system especially, there is a lot of these things like, you want work done, then somebody you have to bribe, and that person you are willing to bribe because you want the work done, and that person takes the money because he wants to take advantage of your need. So this kind of thing, this is a transactional decline in virtue. And so here, these kind of things are much more subtler. And but there is also a decline in virtue. A society, if it is run primarily like that kind of corruption and all that, sooner or later, like we see people rising, forces and all that happening. But yet, sometimes it seems like long time can go before something happens. So that is what the Lord is assuring here, that when that decline comes to that state, where even the good people, those who sincerely are trying to practice righteousness, live a life of purity, and those who want to progress spiritually, they are getting affected. Abhyudanam adharmasya. That when that happens, then what? Tadatmanam srijamyaham. I take birth, meaning the personal manifestation, the divine manifestation of the Lord will happen. Yet there is also a subtle way of understanding this. One is, we say that there is a personal manifestation of Lord, like just as how he came as Krishna and all that. Of course, they say there are so many avatars. It is not just these 10, there are so many avatars. So every kind of a person who is working for the Lord is himself a manifestation of the Lord. This is also a way it is translated. So those good people who are trying to help the society, help the, especially in the spiritual ways and all that, in a more looser way, they are also a manifestation of the Lord. Why? Because they are free of that kartrutva. Don't have the doership. They don't claim that I am doing it. Then the Lord is working through them. So that is also a way where all of us can become this, like a mini manifestations of the Lord. And the sacred people, the rishis and all this. So many of the rishis are taken like that, like this Kapila Muni and all that. Many such sages, they are all considered to be this avatar of Lord Himself. Hmm. Uh, so then why? Because he says, paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam. Sadhu, sadhu, or loosely we use the word sadhu sometimes for sannyasis. But sadhu means anybody who is trying to live a good life, somebody who is trying to live by the shastras, anyone who is attempting to progress towards moksha purushartha, the person who seeks ultimate liberation, that person is a sadhu. Paritranaya sadhunam, to help the sadhu. So we see that, that many times in the stories, the rishis, the gods and all go to that supreme Lord, and they tell him, this killing is happening, that killing is happening, can you send somebody? So similarly, they say that, right? Like, why was Krishna born? Because there was this Kamsa, he had to be destroyed. So he took birth. Why was Rama born? There was Ravana, and then there were people who were harming the sages. Vishwamitra once comes and asks his Rama's father, can you send Rama to kill all these people who are harming the rishis who are doing yajnas. So that kind of thing, to protect those who are sincere, who are spiritual. So and vinashaya cha dushkritam. So to destroy these demons, to destroy these evil people. See, ultimately, everybody, the law of karma catches up with everyone. So even though the people who may have prosperity for a while, if they continue to abuse it and all that, most likely many times in this life only it catches up with them. Like they say, right? Hitler killed so many people and eventually he had to kill himself. So many times it happens, but sometimes it may not happen that clear cut. So here is where, our information is limited. What we see is limited. But if that person is really that kind of thing, then some force of the divine will manifest to take care of that. And this is what, sometimes, some negative way only that force might come, and negatively that person might be destroyed. Like sometimes we say, right? If there is a very difficult politician, some other equally difficult politician will come and take that person away. So that is also an end to that kind of rules. But the bigger part here is we have to distinguish between the that people who are seemingly helpless and suffering, and people who are noble and suffering. So these are the two sometimes distinctions it is hard to make. Sometimes we say, right, like why somebody, some children, why are those children harmed? Why are those women assaulted? So these kind of questions come up. So you see, in a larger context, although it may seem a little cruel, but the law of karma is such that you're not being it is not, nothing is happening to you for nothing, in that sense. All are effects some way. In one way, these are all effects of some actions, something which we have done unknowingly, unconsciously, or knowingly, but now we have reformed. So all these are things, we don't have proper understanding about. And so it is hard to just say that, the Lord is cruel. Why does why does he tolerate injustice to happen and all that? So sometimes, this suffering is a means for our spiritual progress. So this is where, the system is set in such a way that if you don't learn through wisdom taught by the gurus and shastras, then you have to learn through life sufferings. So this is a famous quote, people use sometimes. If you cannot learn through Guru and Shastras, then life will teach you. And this is a very realistic thing that happens. People who have certain things in ashrams and all that, you see, right? Sometimes if they cannot learn, then the life will teach, but not in the way that, in a cruel way that we are saying in that thing. It is like a evolution, how we learn through evolution. So ideally we all have to be like Buddha, where he learned through others' experiences. He saw that others are suffering, then before that comes on to me and my family, I should discover the root of suffering. So the motivation for that and the means to that is through the Shastras and Gurus, as we are all doing right now. So and then what? Dharma samsthapanarthaya. This is a very important thing. To re-establish Dharma. Why does the Lord take birth again? Sambhavami yuge yuge. In every yuga. Yuga means a large cycle of time. There are 4 yugas. We classify into 4 yugas. Satya Yuga, where the righteousness is supposed to be the highest. And there is Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga is a stage of, where it is also a higher age, but relatively lesser compared to Satya Yuga in terms of virtue. And then there is the Dwapara Yuga. Dwapara Yuga, they say, is when Lord Krishna was born. So then there is a Kali Yuga. So according to most Shastras, we are now in that Kali Yuga. It is supposed to be the lowest age. But yet it is the age where people suffer and they can progress faster. This is the age where people realize that samsara sara, the one of the questions that Shankaracharya, in one of the things, Prashnottara Ratnamalika, he says there is one question, important question that we should ask. What is it? Kim samsare saram? Huh? What is the essence of the samsara? What is the essence of samsara? Means our life, our world, that experiences we are having. And then he says, Bahushopi vichintyamana midameva. One who keeps contemplating on this again and again and again. Huh? That person is a higher devotee. That person is a higher bhakta of the Lord. He is not just asking, help me get some good things in life, help me solve the problems of life. He's telling the Lord, tell me, unravel to me the reality of life. Unravel to me the essence of this whole world, which is the Lord Himself and which is our essence. So that again and again contemplating on this question. So that is the important. So now the Lord actually mentions one more point here. Janma karma cha me divyam yo veti tattvataha. So the one who truly understands my divine nature of birth, meaning the whole creation comes from that Lord, right? So when we understand the Lord, we understand the essence of this creation. Tattvataha, in reality, we know. Tyaktva deham punarjanva naiti mameti sorjuna. He, after his body goes away, after his talk of this life's karma is done, he doesn't have to take rebirth, meaning he's freed. He's freed from this samsara. So here a couple of more points. So when we talk about dharma, see, in terms of purushartha, many times we use this first. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, we say. Dharma is the essence, in a way, for all other purusharthas. A person who has walked the path of dharma is also qualified to get certain artha and certain noble desires which he have. So many of us, like we need artha, we need house, we need money, we all need to survive that. The only difference is that kind of seeking of artha is a natural thing for humans. Nobody need to be taught that they need a house to live, they need money. So this is a little bit natural for everybody. But the walking the path of dharma is the means to that. If you walk the path of dharma, then these things come. So many times the successes people gain, it is based on the dharma they have done in previous lives or in this life. But what happens when they come to that ability? They are the temptation they are not able to resist. Then they're not able to follow the dharma. And then soon what happens? Then you decline again. So that which takes a person up and helps him reach the goal of worldly life and also qualifies him to get jnana. See, all of us who have come here, we are studying and all that. To a large extent, we have done the path of dharma. That is the qualification that helps us to now seek knowledge and moksha. So the dharma is what has given us a good life, and dharma is what has brought us to seek this knowledge. And yet that same dharma, that adharma, can drag us and put us back into worldliness, into ignorance. And from that ignorance, more adharma will come. So that is why, sometimes this mantra is used for people, like, there's a famous quote which is Dharma Rakshati Rakshitaha. So the one who protects dharma is protected by dharma, meaning that person, this is like, here the Lord is saying that similar thing. If you're following the dharma, that I will come and take care and ensure that the dharma is upheld. So if you're a sadhu, meaning if you are the one who is protecting righteously. So the atrocities that happen to some helpless person could be part of their karma. But the atrocities that happen to noble people, meaning pious people who are walking on the path of dharma, if that happens, then the Lord will take care. That is the assurance we are getting. So how can we ensure Lord's protection then? we have to become that sadhu, meaning we have to walk that path of righteousness. When we walk that path of righteousness, then no matter what happens, that dharma will always protect us. The Lord will protect us, the dharma will protect us. So, this is the main message for all of us seekers. uh, the suffering may come because of our karma. We don't know. But if we are walking that path of righteousness, then the Lord will ensure that no adharma can happen to us, meaning no evil can happen to us. And even if it happens for a while, if we are tested, if we hold on to that dharma, then that protection is the Lord will ensure that protection. And now this is what he's saying, the birth of the Lord, meaning this avatara of the Lord, when he takes the birth, when he comes into this manifestation. So this thing which we are, if we understand the reality, what is the reality he mentioned before? I am never born, he says. Although in reality I am never born. It seems like I'm born. I, for the sake of dharma and all that, it seems like I'm born. So when we get the knowledge, we realize that in reality there is no birth for the Lord and no birth for ourselves also. So this is the essence, the deeper truth. Tattvataha, he says. The word tattvata means in reality when you perceive this. In reality, you realize that the Lord is nirguna, nirakara. He can never be born as such. But yet, for this manifestation, for this aspect of our understanding, this Lord takes this birth, this form. So the one who really realizes that, what does he get? He get moksha. He realizes, and he doesn't have to, because this is what we call the path. Vedanta path. There are two means of perceiving the reality. That is why when Shankaracharya re-established Vedanta from that Buddhism predominance, what he did was he said that you don't have to get rid of this aspect of God and the Vedas. These are a valid means of realization. So, as a sadhaka, we have to do self inquiry into who am I, what is my true nature, all that is important. But you can also try to understand that there is a deeper essence I'm perceiving, this deeper reality, a outer reality I'm perceiving. What is the reality of this? So, if you decode that, also you will come to reality. So in Vedanta, we are taking two-pronged approach. One is we sit in meditation, we quiet the mind, we inquire into the deeper nature of who am I, what is the truth of me. The other is we do our functions according to fulfill the role and worship the Lord, feel that presence of the Lord in everyone we see, everything we see, and uncover that deeper reality. So this is the Tatpada, discovering the Tatpada. So both are valid means. So you can be a devotee, you can worship the Lord, you can try to understand the Lord, the reality of the Lord, and you can try to understand the reality of yourself. And it is also true that if you understand one, you will understand others. This is a secret that many people talk about. The When you understand who am I, really in essence, you will also understand the reality of the Lord. Ramana Maharshi says that. You just focus on understanding who am I. But as a Vedantin, we can do both ways. We can also understand who am I, and we can also try to worship and understand who is the Lord. So both are valid means of realization and freedom, getting to the deeper reality and realization. So, in that context, Ramanujacharya says that, by true knowledge of the Lord's divine birth, his acts, all the sins that stand in the way of taking refuge in the Lord are destroyed. So when we have that reality, that understanding, see, why is it said that Jnani is the highest bhakta? Because he realizes who the Lord is. Once you realize who the Lord is, you're willing to surrender. You're willing to, if you're asked to love somebody, Someone whom you don't know, somebody whom you never met, it is not easy, right? But the knowledge of the Lord, if you have, if you really know who you are, then you cannot but love him. You cannot but realize why, because the Lord, the nature of the Lord is your own essence. It is indivisible from you. So this is, this is the way. And there, the Shankaracharya says that, the tattvataha, truly in reality of that nature. The next shloka, vitaraga bhayakrodha, then you are freed. You are freed from this attachment, fear, anger, what we call raga dvesha. When you get absorbed in the Lord. See, this is the one advantage of a devotional approach. The devotional approach is helpful to free us from the devotion we have towards worldly objects. So when we are obsessed with the worldly objects, then the devotion of God, gurus, and all that can be a useful means for us. That is the heart, people especially who have that personality, that emotional personality, that thing of getting attached. They're easily agitated, fearful. See, that is an emotional personality. How do you, through sadhana, work with that? That is where, you taking ashraya, the refuge, surrendering to the Lord, can transmute that worldly emotions into that pure divine emotion. So that is why, but although predominantly the Vedantic thing is the jnana, we are trying to get the knowledge, but through that knowledge, that natural devotion will come, which will purify us, which will purify and make us qualified to abide in that knowledge. So here, predominantly, the Lord is, now he will move on from this point, because here until now he had not told Arjuna his true essence. So Arjuna had this question: how is it you were born before the Lord Surya or the sun? How did you give teachings to him? So then he says, I'm not talking about this specific form of mine. And so the Lord is saying clearly, this divine essence of me, which is the essence of everything in this creation and beyond creation, that thing you have to try to understand. That means for your end of your samsara. So you will not have to be born again if you come to this truth in this life. Of course, we say from Vedanta, the moment that realization is there, that moment itself you are freed, Jivan Mukta. But here the Lord is saying more in the Videha Mukta perspective, that at the end of the body, you will not have to be reborn again. But internally, you're freed. You're freed from the karma. You, whatever actions you do, if you say that I became a Jivan Mukta, but tomorrow I stepped on some ant, or I hurt some cat on the street or something, then there is new karma accumulated. No, if you are a Jivan Mukta, whatever actions you do from then on will not bind you. That is one thing that the Lord is saying. You will not have to be reborn. You may finish this life, whatever thing you may have to do, but you don't have to be reborn again. Okay, so these shlokas are used a lot of times in the dharmic context. So as we know, Bhagavad Gita is a very popular text. And in this text, people also derive meanings for Dharma Shastra. They use it as a text to say how, um, the path of Dharma, everything. So that is why it is an inspiration for a lot of people who are especially serving the society, who are trying to do this Nishkama Seva. For all of them, it is all because it is not just immediately telling you to leave everything and be on just a as a sadhu. It is also trying to give this Dharma Shastra, the teachings of Dharma, how you should live in this life, how you should tried why you should be righteous, why you should follow the path of Dharma. All that is also giving. So here the Lord is establishing it primarily from our perspective of studies, This is helping us that through Dharma, we are able to get this purification. And this purification is very essential for abiding in that wisdom. Okay, any questions, comments people have? You're welcome to ask. Okay, so the next few shlokas, we will move on more to that jnana perspective. This chapter, as we know, predominantly is focusing on the jnana, and the Lord now introduces about himself, and then so the perspective here is the part of the Lord's perspective is also to explain. We looked at last class. He explained about Maya. So when we understand about the Lord, so that we say that Mayopadika, Ishvara. The Lord, what is the definition of the Lord? Is his upadhi is Maya. So, okay, let me maybe, if nobody has question, let me ask you all a question. When we say Maya, what is the difference between the Maya affecting the Lord and the Maya affecting us? We said Mayopadika Ishvara, right? The Upadhi of Ishvara is Maya, Lord's, Bhagavan's limitation or adjunct. Defining thing is Maya. So how is the Lord affected by Maya and how are we affected by Maya?
Lord is not controlled by Maya. We are controlled by Maya.
That's a very good point. Anybody else?
Can we say, Swamiji, that Lord is something that is choosing Maya, is having control over it, as compared to us, we have Maya because of avidya. So it's controlling us with ignorance. Whereas Lord has a choice, he was like controlling it sort of idea.
Correct. That is the fundamental thing. Although we say upadhi, upadhi generally means it limits you, it controls you. But in the context of Lord, he or she is not controlled by it. So that is so it is a choice. That is probably the better word. We can say control also, but choice is that he has chosen to operate through Maya. So I may give this thing, right? That illusion. A magician creates an illusion at his will. And when he doesn't want, he takes away that illusion. So that is that. So how is it that we are controlled, like Shamla, you were saying, how is it that we are controlled by Maya? Partly because of our avidya. Because we are in avidya, we are controlled by Maya. Then what is the next effect of avidya? Avidya is the first thing which puts us in Maya. What is the second binding thing that avidya leads us to? Maybe somebody else. Shamlaji, wait. Let me ask somebody else. There's somebody who else can try. Maybe Deepika or Jagdishji or somebody try.
Swamiji, able to like understand the reality because of avidya.
No, you're saying because of avidya, we are not able to understand reality, is it?
Yeah.
Correct. So,
reality is like the God, Supreme Lord. So we should have faith in Him, and we should realize that this is all an illusion, and we should function based on that.
But on our worldly life, right? Maya is the avidya that brought us this bondage. But what is it that is holding us day to day to our bondage? What is causing us our suffering? How did that avidya create suffering? From a conceptual way. I know that these are just concepts right now. But how
we get attached?
Attachment.
Attachment, yeah, attachment, correct. But more than that, what is the binding factor? With the avidya is the factor which made us, got us into this, got us attached to Maya. But what is the day-to-day binding factor?
The
Asmita,
vasana.
ego.
Ego, Smita. See, there is a specific thing which I might have told.
Avidya, kama, karma. So the bondage.
Very good. Yeah. So avidya, what does it do? It makes you do wrong actions. It leads you to wrong desires, and the wrong desires or wrong actions then you do, and then the law of karma comes. Huh? So day to day, our law of karma is the bondage. We will not say that, today I'm having this problem because of, I mean, like even a spiritual person, he will not immediately say that today my problem I'm facing is because of avidya. He will say, oh, this is my karma, I did something, and this is, I like if you have to go to job in the morning or something. So that is your karma in a way. So it has got you entangled. It has got you. So this is a formula. Avidya, kama, karma. If it was just avidya, then it's no problem. You are just ignorant, then it's okay. But that avidya has given you wrong intentions, wrong desires, wrong kind of motivations, worldly motivations. You are not seeking Bhagavan, you're not seeking the truth, you are seeking worldly pleasures. Why did this come? Because of avidya. Huh? So then what happens? You act on it. Once you act, it's like a criminal, like or somebody who maybe somebody out of road rage. Out of road rage, they did some accident. Now they're sent to jail. So what is the thing at that point? They say, I acted on this. Once you act, you cannot take back. That is the law. So once we acted, we are, I mean, like, of course, from the knowledge, there is no action. We are free from all that, from the highest knowledge. But in a daily perspective, this is the reality. Okay, all right. We will leave it at this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om
Om
Shanti
Shanti
Shanti Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Namo Narayana. Thank you.